Hey, whippersnappers, this is Tortimer the Grey. Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Pokemon Crystal Wed'locke, Heptath'locke Season 2. Today is actually an extremely exciting episode because it is the last episode. We are wrapping up the Pokemon Crystal Wed'locke today by going through Mount Silver and taking on Red to complete our series. Well, not completing the series, technically, because we have made the Pokemon Crystal Wed'locke and the Nuzlocke part of a continuing series called the Heptath'locke, which is based on the Hexath'locke, which I ran previously with the first 6 generations of Pokemon. And we are including the first 7 in this one. Although, we probably should start having a discussion, and you guys can give me your thoughts in the description, or in the comments down below, as to what you guys would like to see. Oh, he's yelling at us because our Pokedex isn't good enough. We're doing a Nuzlocke, man. Get off my case. But we probably need to start having the discussion about making this an Octath'locke. By the time we get to finishing this thing, Gen 8, assuming that what they have announced for the Switch is Gen 8, will almost certainly be out, and we will be able to be using that for this series. So probably we should just plan on including it up front, and that way we don't have to like make a decision as I'm like have already mentally prepared myself to end the series, and then like the new generation comes out and be like, okay, yeah, I guess we could include it. Because when the Hexath'locke was ending, Gen 7 had just come out, and I just wasn't mentally prepared to make that a part of that. I was kind of ready for the Hexath'locke to be done. But all the branding on that series, like the Hexath'locke was the series, and I've kind of treated these seasons of the Heptath'locke more like individual series, although that could possibly also be because I didn't know the Dicelocke was going to be part of the Heptath'locke when we originally did it, and so there's other reasons there. But anyway, we are continuing on and going to be wrapping up this season at the very least today, and moving into Season 3 with the Pokemon Emerald Littlelock sometime next month. But we have to make our way to Mount Silver and defeat Red before that can happen. And I lost my spot because my phone rang. I'm having some air conditioning maintenance doing tomorrow, and they called to confirm. Great timing. But yeah, the point is, we are heading into the Pokemon Emerald Littlelock after we defeat Red here. And so, yeah. Fun times. But this one is coming to an end. Actually, real quick, before we move in, you guys have already seen, because we've taken a couple of wild encounters, but our team has changed a little bit. You can see that in the sidebar, and you've seen it as we've taken some wild encounters. But Aang evolved from a Dragonair into a Dragonite. He knows Outrage, Waterfall, Extreme Speed, and Thunder Punch. We needed Waterfall to get through the puzzle of Mount Silver, unfortunately. I was planning on putting, I think, Fire Punch or Ice Punch on him to get a little more better coverage, but what are you going to do? So, yeah, unfortunately, he's got Waterfall there. Bonnie learned some new moves as well. Everybody on the team presently is level 75. I apologize for the length between the last couple of episodes. It's been about 2 weeks since I recorded the last episode, and it's taken me about those 2 full weeks. You guys are probably going to see this tomorrow. It's taken me about that long to get all of the grinding done to get us here, so I apologize that, but I think you guys will forgive me. It was a good like 30 levels or something like that. Almost 30 levels. I think we were 50s-ish. But it took a long time. But yeah, Bonnie knows Flamethrower, Crunch, Sunny Day, and Solar Beam. Sunny Day is mainly there to help combat the Hail status, which will potentially make Blastoises and Lapras's Blizzards much more powerful. Or not more powerful, but more accurate. And since I'm planning on bringing Bonnie and Aang into the battle, I really don't need Aang going up against Blizzards. Especially since he'll be the one taking on the water types. So, yeah, there we go. So she knows Sunny Day, and I gave her Solar Beam just as a nice companion to Sunny Day, something that would, if she has to go up against a water type, maybe give her a fighting chance. Aragorn learned some new moves, but he's still pretty terrible. Triple Kick is finally some stab, though, which you guys had you guys facepalming last episode, I think, as we were using Dizzy Punch, which is apparently a normal type move, up against the rock types. I'm like, why is this so bad? It's like, because you're an idiot, Tor, because you're an idiot. So yeah, he's learned some new moves. Penelope's got some new stuff. Nothing too crazy, though. Blizzard she's got. Let's see, and Napoleon is pretty much the same because he's been awesome for a long time, as has Josephine. I think maybe she's got Toxic instead of Acid now, but otherwise, those two have been great for a long time. So, yeah, we've got a team of 6 newish Pokemon, well, not newish, but new Pokemon from what is in the Hall of Fame already, because those Pokemon that survived today are going to be making it into the transfer pool. And, let's see, do I need to go? They'll be making it into the transfer pool, which, Silver Cave. Okay, so I guess we're here. Okay, Pokemon Center. Do I need to heal? I don't think I even bothered doing any attacking. So we should be good to go here. But yeah, so the 6 Pokemon on our team, supposing they survive, are going to be heading into the Hall of Fame, or not the Hall of Fame, but into the transfer. Ooh, right, we do have potentially an encounter here. There's really only one Pokemon that I would even bother trying to catch, and the Graveler is a Dupes Clause, so we still potentially have the option. It's pointless for me to even try, honestly, but it's a Pokemon I would be another Dupes Clause because of Churchill. It's something that it's pointless. This is the last episode of the series. The only reason why I would even attempt to catch this Pokemon, which is Larvitar, there's a 5% chance here, is because it's such a cool Pokemon that I would be compelled to do it. But we're actually going to, in fact, as cool as that would be, it's going to be even cooler to not have to do wild encounters at all, because this is the last episode of the series. You guys don't need to see any of that. All right. So the other cool thing is I'm doing this completely blind. Okay, that's not right. Yeah, okay, so I'm right here. Okay, so that's the entrance. All right, just start from there. Okay, so we need to go straight up. We hit the boulder. Okay, now we need to come back a little bit. Okay. Okay, good. We're in the right place. We're in the right place. But yeah, I either had to bring an HM slave with me, which I wouldn't have been able to then bring one of our couples that were trying to get into the transfer pool, or I had to teach one of my beloved Pokemon a horrible move like Flash. Okay. Okay, wait, I did that wrong. So there's that. There we go. All right, now we're in the right place. Okay, I need to go up. I need to go over. No, I probably need to be right. Yep, right there. But yeah, so heading into the final battle. And I've really been enjoying this series a lot. Just all the cool Pokemon we've gotten to use. It's kind of, this battle is one of those things that it's kind of difficult. You know, we're using, I feel a little bad because we're using all new Pokemon from when the last time when we did the oop, I just jumped down something. What did I just jump down? Oh no, did I get completely lost in here now? I feel bad because we're using Pokemon that potentially you guys aren't as attached to. But it's one of those things that I really wanted to get some new Pokemon going here. Give me 1 second, and I'm going to get out of this crazy darkness, and then I'll catch back up with you. This is going to be terrible. I have a feeling already. I've made huge mistakes. All right. See you in a second. Screw it. Oh, I got really lost. Yikes. Okay. Let's get out of here. That was bad. It's okay. Josephino, forgive me. But yeah, sorry for that. I should have just done that immediately, but there it is. Okay, so we grab the Ultra Ball here. We're going to try and see if there's any items that'll be of potential use to us in the upcoming battle. I know there are items here. I do not know specifically what they would be. But let's go ahead and... Okay. There you go. Want to use Water Force? Yes. But yeah. So I want to take a moment while I've got you guys, to give a special shout out to one of our viewers and friends here on the channel, Talon. He has been a viewer of this series, at least of mine, for a good long while now, and he's been had been doing at least a kind of a run of his own in tandem, a Nuzlocke of Silver, I think is what he was doing. Or a Wed'locke of Silver, and he'd been giving me updates of that, and he's also taking part in my Little Cup Draft League, the Little League, which is episodes of that are going to start going up in September, is what I think we're currently slating it as. Yeah, so he's a good friend of the channel, and he recently became a patron of mine, and he pledged at the level where he kind of got himself the rights to a shout out in his favorite series. Ooh, that's where red is. Let's check out this other stuff first. He got himself the rights to a shout out in his favorite series, and the Hexath'locke or the Heptath'locke happened to be his favorite series, or Octath'locke, whichever. Whatever we got going here. And so special thank you to Talon for being such a great friend and supporter of the channels over the last months and years and all that kind of stuff. I do greatly appreciate it, and it does mean a lot. For Talon and anybody else who is a patron, you get some fun rewards for being as such. You get shout outs to your favorite series, shout outs on Twitter. You can be in the credits of videos at a certain tier. You get all kinds of fun stuff, and you also get access to patron-exclusive content, which is going to be starting up soon. Actually, as soon as this series ends, basically, I'm going to be starting up a Patreon run. I think I said last episode that it was going to be of Nameless Fire Red, which is a hack, and then we were going to be doing a Nuzlocke on that. I kind of changed my tune since that, actually based on some discussions we were having in my public Pokemon Discord. People were saying that they would... they were talking about the side series games, like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Pokemon Ranger, some of those kinds of games, and I've never played any of those games, not one of them. But I've always kind of wanted to do Mystery Dungeon, and so we're actually playing Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Sky, which is apparently the best one, and it's got some cool Pokemon in it and things like that. I'm pretty excited to give it a shot, and so we're going to be doing that as part of a patron series here in the next week or so. So yeah, become a patron for even just as little as $1 a month, and you get to enjoy that series along with my other fellow patrons. Yeah, okay, so let's jump in here with the red battle and just kind of give that a go. We've got Aang and Bonnie up front. He sent out his Pikachu. Ooh, actually, I knew he was going to send out his Pikachu. I meant to lead Bonnie. But yeah, so again, special thanks to Talon. Ooh. Well, at least, okay, Bonnie took that beautifully, and at least my Flying Dragon type did not have to take the thunder there. We get a flamethrower going. Oh, baby! Enough to kill Pikachu in one shot. Good girl Bonnie is about to use Blastoise. Yes, that is where we will switch. Aang can come back in for the Blastoise. Although I must have been thinking of the remakes, because there's no hail going here. I guess he's got potential to set it up, but yeah. So the sunny day thing was pointless. Oh wow! Ooh, critical hit. I was gonna say I did not expect to one-shot that Blastoise, but a crit, I guess, would do it. Pokemon Trainer Red is about to use SP. Oh, and he doesn't have the Lapras either. He's got an SP. I totally should have paid closer attention to his team. I kind of cursorily looked at the levels, and maybe I was even looking at the wrong game. Anyway, Espeon is coming in. We will change Pokemon for that. Yes, Bonnie is very well equipped to take care of Espeons. So you guys can disregard all the stupid stuff I said earlier about Hail and Laprases and things like that. Because Sword's an idiot, apparently. But yeah. Oof, weird. Oh, another crit. I was gonna say, we're doing much better than I thought, but two crits lending us to 2 of the 3 KOs, I guess, is hard to really argue with. It's about to use Snorlax. Torch change Pokemon. Yeah, I'm thinking Bonnie probably doesn't have the defenses to get through Snorlax here. Let's see. Let's give Outrage a shot. We've got the Dragon Fang. It should be physical. Oh wow, that did not do what I hoped it would. Aang's locked into this. I trust Aang's Ooh, wow, that did even less. Do not paralyze. Do not paralyze. Do not paralyzed. All right, we do have a full restore, at least one. I know we caught up on, or we picked one up here just a minute ago. All right, so we are now no longer confused. We should probably take this. Is he gonna rest or heal? Let's go extreme speed. We're confused. Oh, and fully paralyzed. Well, great. But he's not hurt. Okay, pulling out crits of his own. Wait, I saw them. Full restore. Okay, we got 9 of these. Beautiful. Alright, let's get rid of our paralysis, get our health back up. SNORLAX is not currently... It doesn't appear to be in a zone where it's willing or going to heal itself. Oh my god, the paralysis again. That is unfortunate. Okay. Try extremes. Oh, fully paralyzed. Come on, Aang, you got this, buddy. You got this. It's a pretty good mood for me in the past. Is it going to be enough? Yes! Okay. SNORLAX dies. Fantastic. Okay, we're just about to use Charizard, which will change Pokemon. No, the goal was to use Aang's Waterfall and or Thunder Punch for the Charizard. Charizard used Wing Attack, Aang can take that. Alright, and not fully paralyzed, so Charizard may or may not go down here. Not stab, no. Alright. Trust Aang to take another move. Oh, fully paralyzed. Alright. Come on, come on. Okay, we are going to heal at this point. Okay. Charizard using the Wing Attack. But yeah, I really enjoyed this series. And I always love the Gen 2 games because I feel like this Red Battle is such a fun little, like, cap to this series. This is one of my... This actually, Johto, the Gen 2 games and their remakes are my favorite games of the entire Pokemon series. I like the remakes slightly more, only because they also added the Pokemon following behind mechanic in those games, and that is like one of my favorite things that they ever did in Pokemon. I'm so sad that that's disappeared ever since. They always add the coolest things to Pokemon games, and then each generation, and then they always disappear. I mean, some of them aren't that cool. Like, I will not be sad to see Z Crystals going, and some of these other things. I will be sad to see regional variants going when they inevitably get rid of those. But Venusaur is his last Pokemon, I think, so we'll bring Bonnie back in. Venusaur jiggling his legs a little bit there. Alright, let's go for the Flamethrower. See if we can get lucky with another one-shot. Venusaurs are bulky, but apparently we do get lucky. Alright, it's super effective. I think that's right, guys. I think that's it. But I've really enjoyed the format of the Wedlocke. Has been so much fun. I can't believe how much I've enjoyed doing the Wedlocke. I did one off camera even. I would be very much in favor of doing another Wedlocke at some point or another. Whether or not it's part of the Heptath'locke or not, I can't say. But yeah, I've really enjoyed it, and I've really enjoyed playing through these older games again. And there we go, jumping into the credits. We have officially beat Pokemon Crystal now. But yeah, so yeah, okay. So basically, guys, at this point, you guys have already been awesome, and you've given me my votes on last episode. And if you're not already, I encourage you to go to last episode, episode 24 of this series, and give me your votes. But give me your votes on the starters for our next season, which I think we started saying is going to be a Pokemon Emerald Littlelocke. A Littlelocke is another Nuzlocke variant that I created, and we did a run of it previously on a fan-made game called Pokemon Omicron. We did a Littlelocke there. Unfortunately, we failed that run, and I've always wanted to have another opportunity to get in and try and get a successful Littlelocke run. So next season is going to be a Pokemon Emerald Littlelocke, which meant your options for starter were Trico, Mudkip, or Torchic. And so if you have not voted already, I encourage you to go onto the last episode, episode 24, and put your votes there. It just makes it a lot cleaner and easier for me when I'm tallying all the votes in the end to be able to have them all in one place. So thank you so much in advance and in perpetuity for having done so already for voting on those. But if you have not voted yet, you might want to take I don't want to get into a big description of what the Littlelocke is, but essentially it's a Nuzlocke variant that's based off my love of the Little Cup tier, which is basically all baby Pokemon. So none of our Pokemon will be able to evolve at any point, nor will they be allowed to have evolved. So it's a different variant of the... I don't even remember what it's called, but there's another Nuzlocke variant where, like, your Pokemon can't evolve. You can choose, like, one Pokemon to evolve after each gym or something like that. And I'm blanking on what it's called now, which makes me very sad. But it's a variant because our Pokemon will never be allowed to evolve. That variant allows some evolution, I think you're allowed to catch evolved Pokemon in that one. But in ours, you're not allowed to either evolve your Pokemon or catch evolved Pokemon. Basically, they have to be first stage Pokemon or single stage Pokemon. So they either have to be, Squirtle, which is the first stage of an evolutionary chain, or they have to be like Farfetch'd, which is the only Pokemon in its evolutionary chain. I gave myself that leeway. But basically what that means is Trico, Mudkip, and Torchic are going to remain Trico, Mudkip, and Torchic for the entirety of the Pokemon Emerald Little-Lock, which we're going to be doing. So you have to keep that in mind when you're doing your votes, and you have to keep that in mind as we're doing our transfer votes as well, which is what we're going to be doing now. Based on the Heptath'locke, Octath'locke, Hexath'locke, whatever this stupid thing is called, I really should make a name for this variant that doesn't tie in specifically to the number of seasons involved. I really need to come up with like an overarching name for this sort of thing. If you guys have any thoughts on that, feel free to let me know in the comments down below. But essentially going into the next season, what we do is to make it a continuation, a long-running series, is we transfer Pokemon from the previous seasons into a future season. We're allowed 2 transfers. There are restrictions on that. We have to forfeit some routes and things like that throughout the course of the season, but we were able to pick 2 of our former teammates to come in with us. They have to have been Pokemon generally that have made it into either survived and made it through the Hall of Fame, but in Season 2, in Generation 2, that becomes a little iffy because we also have this red battle, which is very much a landmark battle as well. So I decided this season to include both Pokemon that were in the Hall of Fame and who were also in the red battle. So that means we've got a pretty good pool of Pokemon that made it into the transfer pool from this generation, but we also got a lot of Pokemon from last generation, or from last season as well. So these are the Pokemon that you have to choose from. I've made little graphics for each of them, but the thing to remember is none of these Pokemon will be allowed to evolve. So despite the fact that, Fiverr is a Raichu now, when he comes, if you guys vote for Fiverr, he will come in as a Pichu, and he will remain a Pichu for the entirety of the game. Pichu, Luna will be an Igglybuff. Clementine will be an Eevee. Everybody will be their first. Aragorn will be a Tyrogue. So there's some of these Pokemon where they're baby forms. A lot of the baby Pokemon added in Gen 2 are completely worthless. But if you guys want to see me struggle through with a Tyrogue, that's entirely up to you. I don't want to weight these at all. I want you guys to use your own thoughts and rationales for why you want to see these Pokemon come in. Whether or not you just love those Pokemon, like in the Hexath'locke, people loved Kazooie, my Pidgeot from Season 1. And every season I would get votes for Kazooie to continue on. She never got enough votes to carry her through into actually being transferred, but I always had several people who would cast their vote for her because they just loved her so much. Not because she was a great Pokemon, because Pidgeot is obviously a fairly run-of-the-mill first route bird, but they love that Pokemon so much that they want to see her all the time. Or if you want it to be super strategic, like when we went into Hoenn last time, we took our Blastoise. Obviously, we've changed the rules slightly since then. Everything will come in as their first stage in every season at this point, but they offered really good bulk and things like that. So maybe people want to say, well, strategically, Techno would be great because if you only ever get to have baby Pokemon, you might want to have some bulky baby Pokemon if possible. So, but I want you guys to use your own rationale for that. I'd love for you to tell me what your rationale is, though, and you get the option of voting for 2 of the following Pokemon. So let's jump right into that now, so you guys get have some time to decide what you want to do. So you guys have already voted for the starters on last episode, and now you're going to vote for who you want to see transferred into the next season. And again, you can use whatever rationale you want, but you get any 2. You can vote for any 2 of these Pokemon. And so you had the choice between Fiverr, the Pichu, Techno, the Squirtle, Mordant, the Charmander, Sari, the Bulbasaur, Luna, the Igglybuff, and Kalik, the Voltorb. Those are our Pokemon from Season 1. You can vote for any of those. You can also vote for any of Romeo, the Totodile, Juliet, the Hoothoot, Churchill, the Onix, Clementine the Eevee, Napoleon the Wooper, Josephine the Oddish, Aang the Dratini, Bonnie the Houndour, Aragorn the Tyrogue, and Penelope the Swinub. So those are all the Pokemon who have survived and made it into our transfer pool. You guys are welcome to vote for any of those Pokemon, and it can be in any combination. So you don't have to pick like one from Season 1 and one from Season 2. You don't have to pick. I guess I should clarify this too. Just because in the Wedlocke, all of our Pokemon were paired off and can only battle with their partners, doesn't mean that if you would like to see Romeo in next season, you also have to vote for Juliet. Romeo and Juliet, because the next seasons will not be Wedlocks, they are no longer tied to the hip. They may still have a relationship, but it won't affect their battling going forward. So you can bring in, Churchill without Clementine. You can bring in Napoleon without Josephine, or vice versa. We can bring in Bonnie without Aang. We can do whatever we want. You guys can vote for any 2 of those. Fiverr the Pichu, Techno the Squirtle, Morden the Charmander, Sari the Bulbasaur, Luna the Igglybuff, Kalik the Voltorb, Romeo the Totodile, Juliet the Hoothoot, Churchill the Onyx, Clementine the Eevee, Napoleon the Wooper, Josephine the Oddish, Aang the Dratini, Bonnie the Houndour, Aragorn the Tyrogue, and Penelope the Swinub. Any or all of those Pokemon are eligible for transfer. You can vote for 2 of them. And I just want to be clear, because some seasons of the Hexath'locke there was confusion, and I want to make sure I'm explaining things as good as I can. If you have any questions, though, on how any of this works, put them in the comments down below. I'm really pretty good about replying to my comments. Most of my regular viewers, who will probably be the ones doing the voting, already are aware of that, and you're probably already aware of how this works as well. But if there are some newer people who feel like they want to vote, feel free to do so, and you're more than welcome to do so. If you have any questions, put them in the comments, and I'll respond to them as best I can. But make sure you get your votes for the 2 transfers going into next generation, or next season, which is, again, a Pokemon Emerald Littlelock. We'll be running through Hoenn. In our starter, I have not tallied all of the votes, but if you really want to make an informed decision, I guess you could go back and tally those votes yourself to kind of see who the starter's looking like it's going to be. It was pretty close last time, I guess, so it could really change at any time. I think one of them, the last cursory kind of tally I did in my mind, looked like one of them was potentially 1 or 2 votes ahead now, but that doesn't mean it couldn't still change. I probably will finalize the votes but right before I'm starting that series, so we probably have a month where you guys will have time to get stuff in. But I'd love it if you got your stuff in now, just so I can kind of start doing some of that planning, especially with the transfers, because hacking those in does take a little bit of work. But yeah, again, thank you guys so much for watching. Really, your guys' support on these kind of Heptath'locke, Hexath'locke type series has really been awesome. I'm really enjoying this second run of this type of series, especially with us doing a different Nuzlocke variant each season. It really keeps it nice and interesting for me. I'm really enjoying it. I hope you guys are too. And I hope I get your guys' votes for the transfers, and if you have not voted yet on the starter, go back and do that. Special thank you once again to Talon and all of my patrons for their continued support. If you want to take part in watching the patron-exclusive series where we're going to be running through a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Explorers of Sky, all you have to do is pledge $1, as little as $1 a month, and you can have access to that series as well as any other patron-exclusive series we do in the going forward. There probably will be at least one of those running. Well, not at least one. There probably will. I will try and have one of those running much more frequently going forward. We've only done one of them in the past, but it's something my patrons are kind of the lifeblood. They really, as much as, well, anyone who watches and comments on my videos are the lifeblood of the channel, but patrons really do, they go above and beyond in supporting the channel. They are my regular commenters and community members who also have decided to support monetarily, and so I feel like I do need to give something back to them in terms of that additional content. But there will still be regular content. The Littlelock will be going pretty much in concert with that. So you guys will still have plenty of Tortimer content. It's just something that's a little above and beyond. You guys aren't really missing out on anything. Tortimer will be here as regularly scheduled, whether you decide to watch that or not. But the link is in the description if that sounds like it's something interesting to you. You can jump in at any time. The way that Patreon is set up now, people their pledge goes through as soon as they pledge it for that first month. So there'd be no waiting period at all if you wanted to watch that series. Yeah, I've really enjoyed the Wed'locke. It's been a lot of fun for me. I've never had a Nuzlocke where so many Pokemon. I had so many Pokemon in the box that I desperately wanted to use. So I hope you guys didn't mind us doing a extreme rotating team this time, because especially with them pairing off, being able to get all the Pokemon I wanted to use meant that we didn't see everybody all the time. And especially these last 3 episodes or so, we weren't really using our core team of like Romeo and Juliet and Fiverr and Luna. And I guess Napoleon and Josephine I view as core as Churchill and Clementine were, especially because they were around longer even. But we started using Churchill and Clementine a little bit more frequently, especially once they started evolving and things like that. But yeah, I hope you guys have really enjoyed this season, and if you have any feedback that I should take going into future seasons, of course, put that in the description down below, or comments down below as well. But go put your votes for starters on last episode, and for one last time, you can vote for transfers here as Fiverr the Pichu, Techno the Squirtle, Morden the Charmander, Sari the Bulbasaur, Luna the Igglybuff, Kalik the Voltorb, Romeo the Totodile, Juliet the Hoothoot, Churchill the Onyx, Clementine the Eevee, Napoleon the Wooper, Josephine the Oddish, Aang the Dratini, Bonnie the Houndour, Aragorn the Tyrogue, and Penelope the Swinub. And as a reminder, since it is a little lock that we'll be doing next generation, none of those Pokemon will evolve, so use that in your decision-making. Wooper will not be a Quagsire. Josephine the Oddish will not be, she will be an Oddish. Josephine will be an Oddish. She won't get to be a Blossom again. And Tyrogue, Aragorn, Luna, and Fiverr will unfortunately probably be pretty useless in the next season. But if you guys want that extra challenge factor, I guess you could always vote for those too. But there's a lot of great options. We have an amazing transfer pool already. I'm sure you guys will find some cool Pokemon for us to take in. Whether you want to use your sentimental reasonings or strategic ones, I'm good with either. Just let me know in the comments down below what those two choices are and what your rationale is, just because I like reading it. And as always, I've been Tortimer the Gray, and you guys have been great. Make sure those likes, comments, subscriptions for me, guys. And I will see you all back here next time. Thank you so much again for the support on all of my series. But I love doing these Pokemon ones, even if they're not the most viewed things I do. And the comments and support from you guys make it so much more worth it than almost anything else I do. So thank you guys for watching. I've been Tortimer the Gray, and you guys have been great. Have a good one.